Oh,
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live stream on the Bow Wow Bill page. I have the man, the myth, the legend joining me. We have George. George, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you very much for joining me tonight.
No problem. Just got home from work. Had a little kiss from Jess, a little bit of dinner, and here
The little fuel,
yep.
and now we're gonna talk a little dog. So I'm gonna share this. I shared this to a few pages. If you wouldn't mind doing a quick bio, introducing yourself for the audience, tell people where you're located and what you're up to, and we'll get it going.
Okay. Name's George Cockrell. I'm out of Maryland, and I've been doing this for 42 years. I just call myself the senior trainer for Dog His Own in Rockville, Maryland. Uh, I've been doing this a long time. Got a lot of stories, of course, after 42 years. And we were just talking this afternoon, Jess and I, and realized that we're averaging over 350 dogs a week.
Wow.
And, I passed the 23,000 dog work number a few years ago, counting, group classes too, And I don't say I train that many dogs, but I've supervised the training of that many dogs. So.
Well, and you train the trainers. Do you do that as well, or
What's that, sir?
do you train the trainers for your facility, or
okay? Yeah, I do. I've moved a lot of trainers through the years, up through the ranks. Some have done, most have done very, very well. I hope that my reputation is I'm always here to help a young and up and coming trainer. I don't beat them up. I try to lead them along. So.
Why do you think that's important, George?
Well, because people like me, the old, I don't know, for lack of better words, the old dog men and women, we're dying off, man. And slow and sure, we just lost some of the greats, of course, this past year, Martin. Daly.
Yeah.
And, so it's important that, at least in my mind, it's important to bring them up and so they don't forget that what we've been doing for all these decades has worked, will continue to work, and they don't need to continually reinvent the wheel. So I don't want them to make the same mistakes I've made too. I've had some hard-earned mistakes. So, maybe if I can keep somebody from dealing with that, great, I'm happy.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. Like a lot of new trainers will come into this industry fresh, which is great, but not realizing that there is already been a ton of ground covered.
Right.
And and it's this the training methodology, and not just that, but the standards that I think have kind of gone to the wayside. And I would you speak on standards? Do you agree with me there?
Yeah, I would say the standard, it's sometimes, I won't say I cry about it, but it kind of hurts my heart just looking at, for instance, like the CD standard, what it takes for a dog to get a CD these days. I think it's embarrassing. The stuff we had to do back when I was playing around in that stuff, jump heights, and now someone told me you don't have to do long out of sight stays anymore. I don't know if that's true. I've been totally done with it for so long. I don't know, but I heard a rumor that they're not doing long stays anymore with out of sight. That's what I heard.
Well, it's mean to do that to the dog, don't you know? No, just kidding. Sorry. That's what the attitude. I don't know. And the same thing.
Liquor. So, it's the standards I see. I'm not all about the competition. I can hang in that arena if I want to. I choose not to anymore, but it's just what people consider a trained pet dog. It's maddening. I get myself in trouble a lot, like at work, because I try to hold some people to that much higher standard, and some clients occasionally will get a little butthurt, about it. But it's only because of my passion. I know what their dog can do. I see it, and I can't get them to commit that little extra that'll get them there, and just have that legendary dog in their life. I want everybody to have that legendary dog.
Yeah, well, it's because you've experienced it.
Yeah, I want them to remember their dog for how amazing it was versus about remember that terrible dog we had.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, my standards, and I'm an old grumpy dude, you know, like I am not gonna lower my standards for anyone. It's just not happening.
Well, I think
And
they're in place for a reason, you know, and they're like checkpoints of of where you're at with your relationship with your dog.
exactly right. Exactly right. It's not about that perfect sit. It's about you and that dog getting to that perfect sit together. You know.
Yeah, yeah, it's that relationship building,
Mhm.
and you know, and I'm pretty Keeler heavy. With when I learned about Bill Keeler and his methodology, I kind of poo-pooed it a little bit. But when I went to Tony's school and learned the nuances of the training, and I was convinced right then and there, man. I mean, let the dog show me.
Yeah. Well, Tony and I have known each other for decades, and uh, I think we might have met while Bill was still alive.
Did you ever meet Bill?
No, I never met Bill. I just missed Bill. I was
Okay.
about years in when he passed away, and back then, you know, dog trainers, you didn't have the networking you had today. It would have been a letter to Bill, and then trying to find. You didn't get an internet blip that hey, he's having a seminar. I have been blessed with knowing Tony for so many years, and I consider Tony a dear friend. I worked very closely for many years with Margot Woods, which was a
God bless her too, man. She just went too to heaven.
yep, and then Mary Mazzari, of course. All these grand old trainers. Not, I didn't mean to say you're old, Mary. I still love you dearly. Uh, I love Mary to death. That's just
I do too. She's coming on. We've chatted a couple times.
yeah, sweetest woman you're ever going to meet. I promise you that.
Well, she had the Irish Wolfhounds, and she knew Bill. You know, I think she went to one of his classes too with the Wolfhounds there too. So
Yeah, I was blessed in seeing the method taught correctly. The beautiful thing is, I found is I wasn't that far off. I just needed a little tweaking. I never
okay,
called myself a Keeler trainer though, and let me tell you why.
okay,
I have not gone and got certified by Tony. You know where he says it. I stray from the method as I see fit.
per
Uh,
dog, per individual, or per just
yeah,
moment. Yeah,
listen, my mantra, man, I train the dog in front of me, and if I
that's
think something
absolutely right.
works a little better, I will stray from the method. But I think Tony would agree that I put out a dog that's you would say it was Keeler trained, if you will.
Okay.
Uh, a
Well,
dog.
even with Tony, dude, I've called Tony for special cases.
Uh
You
huh.
know, like instance, I had this dog that would lose her mind with the tennis balls, and she went through. I mean, but she was still losing her mind. And he was like, week number seven's like the problem week. So whenever we have week number seven come up, it's kind of like a lighter week, so we can deal with some problems. And I was still having problems with this girl, just really really being drivey towards those tennis balls. And he was like, downstay by a tennis ball machine.
Yeah.
You know, and that was what that fixed it. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? You know, just have her just get over it, have her deal, you know, with this. And you know, so and not only that, but John Sparks was just on a couple nights ago, and he was talking about how second class, they don't bring the dogs first class, talk about the long line stuff. Do you do that?
No, I threw the long line on him day one with the client there. So that's
And
one
with
thing
the dog there and everything, huh?
I start teaching that dog to follow as soon as I can get a leash and collar on the dog with the
Yep.
owner. So day one, lesson one, home. Now in our group classes, we don't do that. I used to. I did group class. I've been doing group classes since 1977.
You know when I was born, dude?
What 1977?
76.
Yeah.
I'll be 43 this year. So
Uh,
you've been training dogs for as long as I've been alive, man. That's
boy,
pretty cool.
I got leashes older than you. I got a
That's
tattoo older than you.
awesome. I love it. Well,
So,
we
uh,
have a couple of questions here, Tony. So let me see. So Adam's joining us, and whoever's joining us, first off, hit that share button because this needs to get it spread out far and wide. Anybody's got questions, type in the comments, and also let us know where in the world you are. Adam says, I think the tough part of new trainers is finding the veterans, that are willing to take them under their wing. I mean, there's definitely prideful new punks that think they're hot stuff, and even though they're still super wet behind the ears, but I also think the veterans need to do a better job of being open and helpful.
Well, I can't read that stuff that you just read, but was it Adam Gibson?
Yeah, Adam Gibson. Yep.
Well,
Adam
here's
Gibson.
what I'll say to Adam.
Hey, Larry.
Open for 35 years of the 42 I've been doing this for people to come and learn from me. And many have. And maybe somebody will pop up on here that I've helped along the way. We're out there. And we're actually more giving than a lot of young trainers would think.
You helped me. You showed me the Miners Mander with the Doberman. You were teaching the Doberman the carry with that and you're just watching TV.
Yeah.
And I was like, George, what's that bowl? And then you were like, that's a Miners Mander. And then you just explained to me, we were just exchange of messages. And I went out and bought that Miners Mander and started doing the carry and the retrieve. Forced retrieve, forced fetch with the Miners Mander, which blew my mind.
Well, back to the younger trainers and stuff. The ones that I've helped along the most came to me hungry, and I don't need them to bow before me. I just want to make sure that's clear. But too many want to come in and want to be making $1 million right away, or they want to get paid. And if you want to pay my hourly rate for me to train you, if you start talking money like that to me as a young one coming in wanting to learn, well, then we're going to talk money. But I don't want to talk money. I want to talk hunger. I want to talk apprenticeship. Jess, my beloved started with me as an unpaid apprentice, and she showed up. She showed up so much, I tried to chase her out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Hungry.
I want that. Exactly right. Again, I'm not asking for anybody to bow before me, but you come and want to learn, and don't ask me how long before you're out there on your own. It's about a number of dogs trained, in my opinion.
Yes.
And when I was coming up, I never called myself a dog trainer. I waited till the old dogs before me, my father's bunch, gun dogs and stuff, gun dog trainers. They finally, said, try that George kid. He's a good trainer. I never said I was a dog trainer. I went out there and spanked their butt a few times with some retrievers and stuff. But do you know what I'm saying? That was bestowed upon me. And as big-headed as that sounds, I think that's the way it ought to be. Let these old buzzards that have survived for 30, 40 years let you know, hey, you know what? I think you're ready.
Absolutely.
Like a shadow program, I'm really not that interested in doing, where somebody comes and hangs around with me for a week. What are you going to learn in a week? Even that week at Dog-A-Zone, you'll actually see us in the training department alone. We run through about 350 dogs a week.
That's crazy.
On any given week, counting the group classes. And I personally do 25 to 30 private sessions in a week, a work week. Just me. And then Jess is doing hers, and Terrence is doing his, and group classes, and 15 board and trains. And
speaking of Jessica, she just says, no one is more willing to share knowledge than George. Trust in that.
Yeah, but that's Jessica. She'll tell you all kinds of lies about me.
Because you guys are now, like you said, beloved. You guys are Twitter-pated.
Yeah. Yes.
So, I mean, and so you deal with, you're in Maryland, East Coast. How long have you had the facility?
We've been at Dog-A-Zone now, I guess, over 3 years.
Okay.
I ran out of my car for 35 years.
Wow.
House to house, 5, 6, 7 sessions a day, with people going to their homes, private lessons for 35 years. I did group classes out of various facilities I would split. Like if they had a facility, if they would collect the money and do all that and write me a check, I would split my group class fees at their place, and I might do 2 or 3 group classes a week at their place, and when everybody paid up, they'd write me a check. They get to keep theirs. I had them pay the insurance, everything. I just
Yeah.
took half. And everybody says, "Oh man, you crazy. You should have took 80%. Nope. I never once had one complaint from anybody hosting me. Not one, not ever.
Huh.
Because I was fair. And I made
Well,
a lot of,
yeah, and you were making them money too,
yeah, that's exactly right.
You
And
know,
no
and
fuss, no muss. No fuss, no muss. Don't make no trouble for them and show up when you're supposed to. And then I was with PetSmart for several years. Back when PetSmart first opened, they hired pros to work out of their stores. So I
I
was
wish
with
they
them.
still did that.
Yeah, well, let me tell you what. When a young trainer asks me how to get some dogs under their belt or not, I'll tell them to go work for PetSmart or Petco.
Okay.
And I've been crucified for saying that. And let me tell you what my reasoning is. The reason I left them is they started trying to control what I did. When I went in there, I was doing Keeler classes in PetSmart. It was Keeler classes. At the end of my 8-week course, you could go out and get a CD, and many of my students did. Out of PetSmart, $79 a class or something like that is crazy.
That's awesome.
$79 for the whole course. But anyway, PetSmart and those big box store setups really tie your hands up bad. You can't use this. You got to use this. You can't say this. You can't do that. If you can get a trained dog out of that, you're showing me something. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
You're training a dog with 1.5 hands tied behind your back. You're showing me something. You come out of PetSmart and you show me that these people are actually doing stuff with their dogs. I want you to come to work for me.
Well, and sometimes, those limitations can be the spur of innovation. Necessity is the mother of innovation, right? And they're going to find a way, dude.
If that's the person, that's the one that's going to make it. That's going to be there 40 years from now. That's the one. You see?
Yeah. Well, I started out purely positive, and going, and trying to, go that route. And then I just dealt with competing motivators, higher drive dogs, and realizing that they were blowing me off. And then I just started learning more and more techniques, having a more and more eclectic knowledge base, and pearls of wisdom everywhere that you can use for this moment, this lesson, this dog, the dog that's at the end of your leash.
That's right. And I don't even get into the argument over positive and balance, whatever that is. And
yeah.
I don't even have that conversation because I joke and say, I can out-click Karen Pryor herself. I can out-click her,
Yeah.
And I can do the best of them with a remote collar in my hand. And you want to see me use a leash, it's pretty impressive. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's one of my old quotes, buddy. It's not the tool, it's the fool. So if you've seen that originally started with me back in the 90s. And I believe that to this day. So I don't argue people about all positive and, again, all that other. I don't even go there.
So. I don't either. The only thing that I do is what do you do when we have a powerful dog or a dog that is high maintenance or showing some pretty worrisome behaviors? How do you approach that with the client? What's the conversation that you have
with me? Well, one thing I always make sure we're always telling them, we are training the dog in front of us. And I'm not afraid to tell them the truth. I'm also not afraid if I need to. And man, this is an extremely rare situation where if it had to get, for lack of better words, physical with the dog, and it usually doesn't, I tell them what's coming, and the beautiful thing is I have never had it where if I had to go there, like, hang a dog up or anything crazy like that, the dog's trying to kill me at the moment.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, the dog's still beside me, still alive, still and now respecting a little more.
Yep. That's right. And it has consequences from the behavior that they were like, dude, I want to eat this dude. Let me see how he tastes. That wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, after all these thousands of dogs, I tell people, and this ain't a pride thing. I've been bitten probably 200 times in all that time, in 40 some years.
Okay.
You know, they're not all devastating bites. Too many trainers will throw their scars up and, oh, look, yeah, well, that was dumb. I was dumb. I've been dumb 200 times.
Yeah.
I call each little scar and nick on me a diploma, evidence of an educational experience.
That's right. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
but
that's
but I also finished that sentence off with, I ain't never been bit by the same dog twice. Now think about that.
fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Exactly right. So, it's nothing to be proud of, but some people wear their combat on their sleeve. I've worked with dogs that would seriously kill you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's the background I come from. I'm the guy that took all those dogs that nobody else could or would, and I've worked with dogs that literally would kill you. I don't anymore. I like the puppies. I like the soft dogs. Give me that stupid golden retriever.
Me too, man.
I don't even, I really don't. Even at Dog Zone as a policy, we don't take human biters anymore.
Okay.
If they put a hole in a person that required medical attention, I just gently and politely send them down the road.
Well, because you can, because it's your business, and
yeah. And that's not the type of clientele we're trying to bring in there too.
Yeah.
I just mentioned we do about 350 dogs a week. There's plenty enough business without needing to take dogs that maybe shouldn't be in a home.
Yeah, and I said I'm right there with you, man. After dealing with people's problems, and then like, why do you have this dog? You realize what this dog was bred for, right? You realize the strength, the power of this dog, and they, a lot of times, they've gotten into their heads or over their heads with this relationship. They really had no clue. I call them the looking at dogs. They think it's just a looking at dog, where it's not. You got to consider the inside, especially the inside between those ears, of what this dog's job was, and the genetics of this animal, and even really drivey labs and stuff like that, like field dogs. I love them. I love training them, but sometimes they can really wreak havoc on somebody that doesn't know what they're getting necessarily, or they think that they're getting a mellow or English lab or something like that.
Yeah, and then even ego or embarrassment or whatever it is prevents people from admitting it. From admitting what they've got. Linda Kayam says, "Big G, my brother from another mother." That's right. That's my sister from another mother. Linda and I go back a long time with a lot of people, man. So,
I want Linda on here too. Have you ever trained an Anatolian Shepherd? I don't know. I've trained one. I'm sure he has too.
I've probably, without exaggeration, I've probably done 50 or more of those dogs.
I think I've done about 8 or 9.
Yeah, I mean, that's not that uncommon a breed. Someday try to get over to Jess's Facebook. There's a picture of her with an Armenian Gamper that I took a picture of her. That the dog was, I'm 6'2", and the dog was about 6'4" on its hind legs.
No way.
And yeah, all of about 200 and some odd pounds. And then after the eval, where the guy was just playing on his phone the whole time, the dog decided to be aggressive. So I had Jess backed up on a corner, me standing between her, ready to do battle with this dog. We finally got things under control, but that's the one I sent down the road. That one scared me a little bit. He's a big boy. So
these dogs are no joke, man. They're predators, and that's the other thing. They're an animal. They have the limbic system of their brain. They're living in that moment. They're very opportunistic, and they're no joke, dude. I mean,
that's true. So, but anyway, I'm at that place in my career, man, where I just want, bring me all the puppies. I mean, let me get them dogs started right. Maybe I'll put dog trainers out of business after a while. Who knows? But I don't need to. I don't feel I have anything to prove as far as who can work the toughest dog or who's the most ornery dog trainer. Everybody knows me, knows I'm ornery.
Yeah, so yeah.
I have to tell them, so.
Well, they also know that you know what you're doing, and you have the track record to prove it. But it's also what made you start your facility? What prompted
Well,
that?
Andrew Fraser owns Dog His Own. I don't own Dog His Own. I just run, kind of work there as the kind of lead trainer. I don't want to say
Okay.
Jess is the training manager because I didn't want to do all that paperwork stuff.
Yeah.
So I just want to train dogs. And so I just call myself the senior trainer there now. So Andrew owns it. And I helped Andrew get started way back when he was about 15 years old. Just saw something in him. There's another one. I didn't teach him everything he knows. He's got his own multi-million-dollar business now. But I like to think I helped him along quite a bit. And then when I went off the road, I decided I was going to semi-retire off the road. And he and I got to talking, and I started doing some stuff out of his facility. Let him take a cut of my stuff, just like I told you before.
Yeah.
And then in about 2015, I was just doing my taxes and stuff, and I just went up to him. I said, "Hey, man, why don't you just make me an employee?" And I closed up Companions. Just made a deal with him that I'm okay with. 1,000 times less headache. He treats me well. He lets me do within reason whatever I need to do to get these people trained.
Well, it must be nice to go clock out.
The young guy. He's a young guy, but
yeah.
I respect him, and I honor his place of business. Look, I'm even wearing gear, so.
Cool.
So I work there as an employee, and everybody says, "Why ain't you got your own place?" I said, "I had my own place for 35 years. I'm done with that. So I'm happy."
Well, you like what you do, and it's a 24/7 gig when you got your own place, man. I just dropped 2 dogs off today. I got 2 more dogs out that I'm working with, and it's just like they're always this energetic residue in your brain, right? And when you can go and clock out, dude, I envy you. Like I can't wait, till I could be like, and you have
I get paid pretty darn well compared to the industry standard. I'm pretty up there.
Yeah, I bet you are.
So, not a money thing. It's a peace and quiet thing. I know Sunday, I don't have to worry about nothing.
Yeah, you can go meet Richard Petty.
Right, check out Richard Petty. Right. So I like that, and Jess and I working in the same place, and the hours we do work because we work our butts off. We work a lot of hours. We do get to spend time together, and then sometimes we don't have enough time to spend together in outside endeavors, because we're both beat.
Yeah.
So, it's pluses and minuses. One, I get, to be near her all the time, which is good with me. But like I said, then Saturday afternoon rolls around, we get home and we're going to go do something cool. And we both end up waking up several hours later.
Yeah. You guys are getting old, man. That's what's happening.
Yeah, it's getting old, man. So,
yeah. But nice nap. That just sounds delicious.
About next time I renegotiate with her, I'm thinking about putting in from like 2 to 4 o'clock nap time for Daddy.
Well, do a little sleepy pod in there. You're good. Be like, I need to go on my crate.
Years ago, when we were up in near Frederick, he had this old couch in the training area, right? And we do this exercise. You probably know it, called sitting on the dog.
Oh, absolutely. Margot Woods showed me that, and
because every afternoon I'd start sitting on the dogs and doing that kind of stuff, and I'd be out like a light on the couch. So he finally got rid of the couch, and I've been trying to get a new couch ever since. He won't have none of it. So
you're gonna switch it. You're gonna say the sleep on the dog.
Right, sleep on the dog. So don't mess with Big Daddy if his eyes are closed.
Yeah. Let sleeping dogs lie, and same thing with George.
Exactly right. Exactly.
I think we need to bring back that expression, dude. Let sleeping dogs lie, and that's where I find my passion is teaching kids how to deal with dogs, and I want to put together a little program. I've been calling it the Family Pack, where I go into schools and introduce them to some of my dogs, and then talk to them about responsible dog ownership and when not to mess with the dog, and that kind of stuff. Just how to be good around these dogs.
That's good. And listen, if you need any help with that, let me know, because I did school safety dog visits for 20 some years. I would do different grade levels.
Great.
I got great stuff you can use in that. We'll do it over the phone. This isn't the place for it, but
I would like that.
I'll give you all kinds of cool little stuff that'll make you more interesting than an astronaut.
Okay.
Uh, I
Well,
thought for sure you'd ask me about the astronaut.
what's the astronaut?
Well, I'm doing one of these things one day. It's kind of a career day. And I have my dog there. I have my Doberman there. And this was Raven back then. Not Raven, but
Yeah, Raven's now, right?
right.
Okay.
The Tempest, the little storm. So one of the parents that was there, he's actually an uncle, was an astronaut. Had been up on the shuttle, right? And I'm talking to the guy, and I'm fascinated. I was around. I watched the moon landing. You weren't even alive.
I was -7.
So we're talking and stuff, and then ultimately they came and got us, and we went off to our respective classrooms to do our thing. And then afterwards, after we had done all our rounds, they brought us back into this room where we had gathered before, giving us some donuts and orange juice and such. And the guy says, I'm an astronaut. I said, yeah, you told me. Don't you remember, man? We had a great conversation. I said, there's a Ken Cockrell astronaut. He says, yeah, I know him. And he says, I went into those classrooms after that damn Doberman of yours. And all the kids wouldn't stop talking about the dog. Well, he's trying to tell them about the damn space shuttle. Stick with Uncle George. You'll be more interested than an astronaut.
Proof. That's a fact, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Well, but I remember when I was a kid. I mean, I've wanted to do this since I was a little kid. I remember when I wanted to work with dogs, always just watched dogs, and then my parents, I was the only boy altogether in my family. We had like 13 girls. And my grandma called me number one. That's what, and I wore that like a badge of honor, man. I mean,
Sure.
And I wanted a dog. I wanted a best friend. And one time they gave me, they said, we got you a dog. And I'm like, awesome. And they brought Squeaky, who was my grandparents' dog. It was like 14 years old. They're like, here you go. Here's Squeaky for you. But I took care of, what's that?
I said, that's the way to get started anyway.
Yeah, little schnauzer, dude. And I loved on that dog and got to know him.
Yeah.
And
no, schnauzers teach you a lot of stuff. I used to have one that I just adored named Talon. So pound for pound, the toughest dog I've ever owned.
I love schnauzers, man. I love schnauzers. I love beagles. Some dog trainers don't love beagles. I love them.
I grew up with beagles, brother. I love beagles. And when they bay,
oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm a beagle guy at heart. I'll tell you, the last several years now, God, I guess it's going on 20 years now, I became a Doberman guy somewhere along the way.
Yeah, how'd that happen?
I was, well, you know what?
Linda says naps rule, by the way. She's a napper.
I had retrievers, like hunting retrievers and stuff. And I had that big golden named Tug, who was, I consider, fairly legendary. And
is that the dog you'd whisper to?
Yes. Yeah.
So tell me about that. I heard about this, dude. Like, I heard that George would whisper to his dog. And didn't you say, no, somebody was a remote for the collar or something like that? Like you were talking to the dog, or maybe that wasn't you.
What that thing was in my hand, the remote control. And I'd say, it's his cell phone. And they'd say, what? And I'd say, watch. And I'd say, come. And I'd hold that remote up to my head, and I'd say, come to the dog. And he'd come. Of course, they couldn't hear me. I wasn't speaking very loud, but he'd come running in. But that dog would work naked all day long and still put anybody else to shame. He was just one of those super special dogs.
I tell my clients, I've adopted that, whisper into your dog. I like, because a lot of times, especially, once we get a little bit further down on the training, I mean, we can distance, distraction, duration, location, we can work on these variables to really proof and generalize that training. And I'm like, work on the vocalization of your voice, let them really listen to you.
You know how I get them to quiet down, the people? Let's assume, and I have to assume because I'm not a veterinarian, but let's assume your dog's hearing is 10 times more acute than yours. Would you say that's a fair estimate? Maybe even more than that. Who knows?
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
hearing.
yeah. And
Well,
the
if they're
rate,
raising their voice and they amplify that times 10, are they not hurting their dog?
yeah. I mean, if that's
That's the way I put it to them.
or making it uncomfortable, it's like, how do you feel when you go start the car up and last night the past you last night had that music cranked up and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's like a little overwhelming. You get down
Right.
there and
Yeah,
shut
so
it.
that's how people to be quiet. And I said, that dog can hear you just fine. You know, I never raised my voice to Tug. If he was out 300 yards, I might raise it, a little bit just to have it carry. But by then, I'd usually just whistle,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Well,
But
and they have
that
the
dog
silent whistles too.
could hear me speaking to you in the tone I'm talking to you in right now at 100, 150 yards, no problem. He heard me just fine.
I
So
heard that he was impressive. People have
yeah,
told
it
me.
was all fit.
Jean
You know,
Walsh, she says, thanks, George, for helping Ernie. He's still a challenge, but you helped turn him around. You are an amazing trainer, and I'm glad we found you. Please keep helping those dogs that need help with issues. You have saved many lives.
oh, wasn't that nice?
That's
So old
awesome.
Mama was so concerned, old Jean, she was so concerned Ernie was a stone killer when I first met her. Ernie's sweet little old Cocker Spaniel, and he just loves
Oh,
him
those
some Uncle George.
cockers, man.
Yeah, he's Ernie's he's he just loves him some Uncle George. It's so bad that when he's in class, I'm actually a distraction to him and a major distraction. So anyway,
It's a
but
proof.
yeah, old Ernie, he's a good old boy.
Cindy McManus says, pretty sure dog trainers never sleep. We just nap. I'd have to agree.
I average just about 3 hours a night, maybe 4.
Yeah, I got this new app on my iWatch. It's called like Sleep Watch or something. There's Heart Watch, Sleep Watch, and another one. And you wear it. Now I wear my watch when I sleep, but it monitors, and I'm lucky if I get 5 hours.
Yeah. Well, it's not so bad. I'm drinking a big double gulp of Mountain Dew.
What time is it there right now?
Yeah. So
It's like 10:30 there, right?
yeah, something like that, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. So it is. So,
What do you recommend people doing when they get a puppy to get them started off on the right foot?
when they get a puppy?
Yeah, or well,
Yeah.
we'll start with the puppy first, and then I want you to say about a rescue too.
Tell you what I do with all the puppies I get. We even did it with little old Buckshot. Buckshot the Wonder Dog on Facebook.
Yes. I'll put a link down below.
Yeah, I just put his little butt on the ground and we leave him. We walk away. We keep walking away. Let him keep catching up. We got video of the first day we had him. You can see it. We just walking away. Let me tell you what I feel that does. It burns into their head to stay with you. And I do it with every dog. So
you just walk away.
Yeah.
No distractions.
Line on them for safety. Bless you.
Long line.
Yeah, we put a lead on them just for safety, so in case they do run off, but they never do. Just walk away.
Oh, you got a Corvette here, Buckshot Corvette that he said here. Playing with my sister. I'm looking at Buckshot's page here. Let me see if I can share it. I can share the web page, I think.
That's from the show yesterday. Yeah, that Buckshot. That's a little old gasser class, little stock class dragster from back in the '60s. Cool car.
Yeah, I think the first vet was 54, was it? Or 52?
53.
Or 53, right there.
Right. That one there, I think, was a 63, 62 maybe. It's probably somewhere on the car, but I think it's a 62. But that's an old stock class. I think an F class gasser.
Here, let me see. I'm going to push this up here so people can see this.
Yeah, there's some cool videos there of us training him when he was very young. So, they weren't filmed to teach anybody, but there's some good stuff. There's Raven.
Yeah, these are. I like watching what people, trainers do with their own dogs.
Well, that's it right there. Jess has done a lot of stuff with him. I've worked with him a bit, but that's really Bradley's little dog, and I try to keep out of it. Like he's a little old dog. He's not going to do high performance stuff like I want him to do or would need him to do. So he's our house dog, and we love him to death.
Well, and I love that you're saying that you're kind of staying out of the relationship with Bradley so he can learn this stuff. And not only that, but I think that dogs are a wonderful tool to teach kids how to be great leaders.
Oh, exactly right, brother. Exactly right. My old man made us take care of the dogs. You know, if you were old enough to carry a water bucket, you was taking care of them dogs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a lot of videos, a lot of pictures. We're very proud of him.
My goodness.
Jess did all the training with him. You know, so shows you her journey as a trainer too.
Here we go. Good dogs follow the leader. This was done last year, September 8th. So we've had him over a year now, man. Time flies.
We've had him like that was 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, 17. Not last year. Dang, listen to me.
Just walking away from the dog. Look what he's doing. No leash.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like he's got a long line. He's a dragging a long line. That's it.
Right. We're not pulling on anything.
No, not even holding the line.
Yeah. So is it common? While we're talking, I'm getting all these friend requests on my phone.
Yeah. The people will reach out or, to you, but it's that's super cool, man. I mean, let me see. Social attraction works well with puppies. Social attraction works well with puppies. That's what Linda Kime says.
Yep.
Listen to Linda.
Knows what she's talking about.
Where's Linda at? She's right. She's old Baltimore, isn't she?
Yeah, sort of. She's over like by Taneytown somewhere, and
kind of close to you, huh?
That way, up north of me. So not far. We don't see each other enough, as far as I'm concerned. But we're both so darn busy that we just don't get together.
Yeah, it's just weird how that happens. So I mean,
highest respect, absolutely.
Yeah, she's amazing. And so bringing home a rescue dog you just got.
Bringing home a rescue dog. I put a long line on him and teach him to follow me again.
Okay.
Not uncommon. I've had many rescues over the years. I've owned 54 dogs.
Wow.
Buckshot's number 54. So
I gotta count all mine.
I believe the most important thing to teach a dog is to build up that, for lack of better words, that pack mentality and have them follow. It's not uncommon for me, if I'm rescuing a dog that has issues, like a dog I had for a while named Teaser. I didn't talk to that dog. I didn't open my mouth to tell that dog to do a thing for a month.
Love it.
Until she was home. And I just leave. And one day she started getting close to me and following. Next thing you knew, I swear that dog would have married me. But I dearly believe, I tell people to this day, I believe that dog was thankful for the space I allowed her while she got acclimated. So I didn't tell her to do a thing. I didn't tell her to come. I didn't try to pet her. I didn't do anything. And she was a real case. I mean, she was a Tervuren that killed like 9 cats and stuff. It was nuts. But,
okay.
Was scared. She was frightened, but not panic in the corner. She just totally aloof. Didn't want to have any social interaction with humans. So I let her be. Because once I take the dog in the house, that's where they end up. I never send one back. Not ever. If I pull it in this house, it's in a box. I have a big shelf of dog ashes in boxes.
Powdered dog.
Yeah, like Tater Tot, the little French bulldog we took in. Seventh home, major bite case. He's downstairs right now. So
those Frenchies can bite hard too, man.
Yep. But they stay here. You know what I'm saying? I don't give up. They survive and they're not abused. So, Do
you ever feel like you failed a dog?
Sure. Sometimes I feel like I failed a client. Not totally, but like in a given session. And I really take it to heart. If I have a bad session, and as we all can do, we tend to push it. We push a bad position. I sit there and sit on that thing for days. I'm really sensitive to it. I'll never say I did it out of laziness or something like that. I might have failed one here and there out of plain foolishness.
Yeah. Well,
sometimes I fail them by not telling them the truth. that you need to get rid of this dog until somebody bleeds, and then I failed them, didn't I? Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, whoever and failed whoever bled, and I have a couple dogs, dude, that I just pray, I know that there's a couple out there, but and it really was my hands are tied. I've said what I needed to say, and it would belong to a rescue organization. And then I said that this dog needs to be euthanized, and another rescue organization came through and took the
Yeah.
dog.
Fine.
And
That's
what's that?
on that's on them.
I know, but I just know what this dog is capable of, man. And I just think, about where it's going to end up, and I just hope, and just can't worry about that, But that's the stuff that weighs on you as a professional, is like, and it's always in the back of my mind, man.
Bill, here's what I'll give you some old graybeard advice, because yours isn't gray yet. You do your job every day. You look in the mirror when you're in there trimming that thing. And if you can look yourself in the mirror, you did okay today.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you feel you did the right thing by saying that dog should be euthanized?
Yes, absolutely. And I really slept on that too,
Then wear it. I've lots of trainers second guess me over the years, and that's on them, because I told the truth. I'm never gonna feel upset about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
dogs I've said euthanize over the years. I mean, really. I mean, when you're looking at number of dogs, I can count on less than two hands.
Me too.
How many dogs I've said, yeah, this one needs to go.
Yeah, it's got a wire crossed or something.
There's a huge thing. And let me tell you, I know what I know, and I also know that I don't know what I don't know. I forget what the name of that phenomena is, but
where you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, there's levels of knowledge, right? There's cognitive ignorance. I forget what it is. Jess can maybe pop it up. She's got a better memory now. She's still watching. But anyway, there's levels of what you know, and then what you don't know, and then knowing that you don't know it, and then not needing to know it because you know it. Don't worry. Look it up. So,
yeah, now it's going to have a little, right? My breaker's going to go up.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to explain. That's it. The best thing I ever told was Captain Haggerty told me I had achieved Mushin, which is with that dog I was telling you about earlier, Tug.
Cognitive dissonance. That's what Marilyn Fuller says.
No, that's not it. Cognitive dissonance is when it's wrong, and there's no way we can convince you it's wrong.
Yeah, that's confirmation bias. You're going to find whatever it is to Dunning-Kruger imposter syndrome.
But Cap Haggerty told me I achieved this thing called Mushin, which the best way for a dumb old white boy like me says it's action without thought. So some of the stuff I do when working with a dog is not anything that's thought through in that moment. It's just like automatic.
Yes.
It's some of that. It's some of that like ninja stuff. It's a Cap Haggerty, all that. But it was a huge compliment coming from him. I knew it meant something really big. It's just I don't have the knowledge to explain exactly what it is, but it is and it's action without thinking first. It's just automatic. It's like computer generated stuff. It's bam.
Yeah. Well, there's things that happen with our brain that whenever it's a survival mechanism, it's a fight or flight response, and it kind of slows stuff down where we are not consciously aware of that protection, of protecting ourselves. And when that predator comes in at us, there's this, it's like, what is it? Instinctual response in human being, even, and that's what I think Captain Haggerty was saying was like, look, you got a pretty fine-tuned instinctual response to these dogs coming at you. Is that
yeah?
What
that'd be along the lines of it. So I've tried looking it up and trying to get explanations. So
Mark says we have all failed clients if we are honest. If it can haunt you and force us to improve. Yes, absolutely.
well, look at this. I got the Battle of the Beards going on.
Yes,
Good
you
hard
do.
knowledge.
And mine just got trimmed up, dude. So
Uh-huh.
don't judge me. I was just hanging out with Mark in Colorado Springs, and we were
Uh-huh.
beard brothers there. So
Yeah.
yeah, Mark's a
Well,
great guy.
Mark's
Uh,
already
yeah,
Mark rides. So yeah,
that's
he's
the
already.
hardest. You cannot save them all, owners or dogs. That's what you cannot Dave them all, but you cannot save them all, owners or dogs. And the people too, man. I mean that by itself, the people skills. What do you say? And I ask everybody that I talk to, what do you say to people that tell you they're getting into the dog industry because they don't like people?
I call them idiots. Listen, this is a true story. Like I mentioned earlier, I've helped a lot of trainers along the way. One of the best trainers, one of the best pure natural dog trainers I ever helped along, came to me through PetSmart, and he was a customer, and I saw this in him. This guy was the most naturally gifted handler. We trained his dog through PetSmart classes, through an OTCH, dog OTCH out of my PetSmart class. This guy was good, and he said he wanted to be a trainer. So I said, brother, let's do this. And I brought him in, and I started to teach him, but he had no patience for humans, none. So I trained him up. This guy's good, as good as I've seen. He says he was moving to Florida. I said, well, man, I'm going to miss you. We were partners. We used to compete side by side with the dogs and everything. And he went away, and he went down to Florida. Didn't hear from him again until a couple years later. I stopped in a local barbecue joint, and there he is, serving fries and barbecue. And I said, what are you doing? I gave this guy some mad skills and some stuff he could make $100,000 a year with. And he's slinging barbecue, and it wasn't even his joint. He says, he looked at me square in the eyes. He said, he went down there to be a dog trainer. He was going to train down there. He says, I hate people, and the goddamn alligators kept trying to eat Nick. That was his dog. So he's back up here, and he's slinging because he couldn't deal with people. Mm. Now, I can deal with people. I can bend their noses quite a bit, but I know, I can get along with most people and have a conversation with them and get to the bottom of things. But if you can't do that, you can train some dogs. You can absolutely train some dogs, but you ain't never going to get rich.
Well, and it's about, you're going to be a kennel. Kennel tech or something like that, where you're back and working. And that's the only thing that I've heard people say is like, look, do a kennel tech, do that kind of gig. But if you're going to be out front working with people, you need to explain and relate. And a lot of times this dog is a symptom of an underlying problem of the family just relocated, just got divorced, empty nesters, lots of different things that, or something that the dog is suffering because of lack of time or whatever,
But do you keep track of the other trainers in your market?
No. Well, I know them, but I don't really, go and see how many. I hope they do well, and.
But do you know the average trainer? I've been tracking this, not officially, but for decades. The average trainer in our market, which is a very high-end market, by the way, that's why we're doing 350 plus dogs a week.
Yeah.
Average dog trainer starting in business isn't in business 4 years later in our market.
Interesting.
You want to know why?
Why?
It takes about that long for the public to figure out you don't know what the hell you're doing, and you should have gotten some help. But about 4 years. So we'll start seeing new names, little Facebook page, and then you don't hear, they're gone. So
that seems about right here too, man.
Yeah, if you start kind of just keep a little mental note, and you'll see the average dog trainer doesn't last very long. And when I started training, like for money in 77, this is probably a good estimate. There wasn't, I would say, 200 dog trainers in the country, like money earning dog trainers. There probably wasn't 200 of them, really.
Wow.
Maybe I'm off a bit, but it wasn't many. Now there's probably 200,000. They call themselves professional dog trainers. Maybe it's not that big, but you just take the,
I bet
big,
you're right, dude. I mean, it's up there. I mean, professional can be, dog walker too. I mean,
right,
but these people that claim to be trainers too,
right.
but and then they're going to find out a lot of times that, they're going to meet that dog that's going to poke a bunch of holes in their program, or you know what, they're good at selling people, dude. Just like the people that are not good, they're good with the dog, but not good with people. These people are overly good with people, but they're not so
Yeah,
good with that dog. So, but that people relationship will carry that weight because they've built such a rapport with them that they like them. They don't want to fire them.
yeah, yeah. I
Mm.
think that's it. I mean, really, I don't know how far off my numbers are, but there weren't that many professional dog trainers, at least in my region. There were some club trainers and some gun dog trainers and the odd, you know, they used to call them guard dog trainers back then, but there wasn't like a pet dog trainer every 47 feet like there is now.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I just typed in professional dog trainers in America.
yeah.
And it doesn't give any numbers, but it definitely gives a link to the APBD,
Right.
the CCPD, Academy for Dog Trainers.
So let's say they have 7,000 members, maybe more, right? And then the IACP, I think, is up well over 3,000 or more now. I don't know. Maybe you heard that recently. I wasn't at the conference.
I don't know how many members
I,
in total. I know there's
we're
550 people at
20,
the conference.
yeah, we're getting up into the 20,000 mark right there.
Right.
So it's like 20, 30,000 of people claiming to be trainers. How many of those trainers are going to be still, and this is how I feed my family, right? I don't have any extra gigs. How many will be here 30 years from now? The same ones. There might be new ones, but the
Yeah.
same ones, how many will be in play 30 years from now, or in my case, 40 years, right?
Probably maybe 100, maybe.
We go back all the way to the beginning of this conversation, and those young trainers, they might want to listen to us old graybeards and stuff, and you know, my old women friends too, like Linda and Cindy and Mary, and there's a reason we're still around and still successful. We must be doing something right. Might want to listen to us instead of telling us that it's
You're
it's
doing it
all new,
wrong.
all
There's a whole new
wrong,
way, dude. Don't you know the
new
new
way,
way?
right? There's always a new way. Look, some of this new stuff people are coming up with, some of this e-collar stuff you're seeing nowadays, you know,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
listen, I was watching Fred Hassan and myself and a few others doing that stuff back in 93, 94.
That's what I loved. I had Fred on this live
Fred,
stream, and he was
Fred and I
talking.
go back home. Fred and I used to, Fred had all those seminars. I helped Fred with many seminars back in the day.
Okay.
Doug, Fred's actually from this neighborhood I'm in. So
That's crazy, man. Here, I want to go through some of these comments. I've got them all lining up here.
yeah,
She says, Mark says about the gray, and Linda says, have you seen my hair lately? And Mark says, yes. Trent says, you can train anyone to be a dog trainer, but teaching them to relate to people. That's the rub there. The trainers last 3 to 5 years in Maryland.
right.
We need to speed the process up. What's that process that you're talking about speeding up? Oh, to get them the heck out of there. I mean, it's pretty. Dude, I could talk to somebody. I could just look at their dog. I could just watch somebody handle a dog to tell you, how good of a trainer. And that's why I bring people onto this show or on my live stream here is the people that I see are good trainers.
But the ones that think they're good, they're going to tell you how good they are.
I want to see the dog. Show me the dog. You could tell me everything.
Yeah, while you're shaking your head, they're trying too hard. It's it's like that, like the alpha argument. You know, like I don't get into that whole alpha and submissive and all that crap because I don't know if you know, I have some fairly extensive experience with real wolves and such.
Mm-mm.
So I don't get in that argument. But here's what I tell anybody who starts talking alpha. Uh, in the pack, the alpha isn't the one trying to run everything. He's already running it. The one that's trying to run everything, he's way down the line. So the bigger noise that young trainer makes when they're trying to show you how good their dog is, they're making all that loud noise when they're throwing commands because they think you might be watching it. If you're not, they want to hear, so you will watch. Yeah, yeah,
Well, all the while, the veteran just over sitting there,
yeah,
strolling along with his dog, just strolling along right next to him.
yeah. So, and listen, bless them. I'm willing to help. But when they come out of the woodwork, saying, "Ah, this is bad and that's bad," how do you know it's bad? You know how many people said they'd never use an e-collar,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd say, why not?
Yeah.
And well, my brother-in-law ruined his dog with one of those. And I'll say, well, I'm not your brother-in-law, and if you're so sure they hurt, how do you know? And then they got to stop and start thinking about that point.
Linda says about them, these trainers leaving. Yep, pretty much. Then they disappear, leaving chaos in their wake. I've seen about 25 come and go since I moved here in 1989. She says
Yep.
at the lowest bar of entry of all trades, dog trainer. You can just say,
Yes.
I'm a dog trainer. That's base. Poof. Magical wand tomorrow. Boom. I'm a dog trainer. No. There are very few full-time pro trainers. There are more part-time supplemental income trainers, but not a lot of training-only incomes.
And she's dead on the money on that.
That's right.
And you can make a real good living if you're going to do it and really commit and do it. You can make a good living.
Yeah. So. Well, but look at, and I learned so much from Tony. I mean, I learned just from, and Bob Mita.
Yep.
Media. How's his last name?
Bob Mita. My old Bob Mita. I've known Bob for 35, 40 years.
I saw a Facebook post that he made, and that's what got me to join the group or to start Tony's class.
Yeah.
And he talked about the lost standards and learning from the true veterans in the industry.
Right.
And I tell you, man, I'm so glad I did.
Well, tell me the truth, of all the veterans you've met and maybe interviewed, okay, the real veterans, I'm talking about, the new, the old buzzards like yours truly, how many of them gave you a hard time?
Not one.
How many of them told you they wouldn't help you?
Not one.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All you had to do was what? Ask.
Yeah. Well, the answer, do you know what I tell people? The answer is always no, unless you ask.
Right.
And that's it.
What I'm saying, but everybody's worried about how these old, tough love trainers like myself, like on the internet, will get on these young trainers in my opinion, very helpful way, but it's too rough for them. And now we're not helpful. No. Just come up with a little respect,
So tell me about the gathers at Margot's. Let me tell you what. So I ordered Margot's DVD.
Yeah.
A long time ago, and I had a chat with her about just some different training methods and everything. And
work DVDs.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I ordered them directly from her, and she answered the phone, and then I remember I said, Margot, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate our conversation. She says, you got it, Bill. Happy training. Click.
Yep.
So always remember that.
The gathers out at Margot's, man, there were some epic gatherings out at Margot's. We were all very close. Linda, myself, Cap Haggerty be out there. God, who else? Dawn Wolf out of New Jersey. Come on, Linda, help me out here. And a bunch more that I'm sorry, I'm just forgetting their names, but I call that CRS. I can't remember shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, Donald McKay.
And what would you guys do? Just run your
Hey,
dogs?
just hang out, drink beer, and bullshit around and talk dogs.
It's kind of like the first IACP thing, It's just
For IACP, man, really.
yeah. Hey, look who's joining us.
What's
Look
that?
who's joining us, Cindy Duan. I love you, Cindy.
I talked about you, baby.
So I miss you so much, George. Ask George to come to Florida next year and see us again, dude. You need to come down to Florida. For the IACP is going to be at St. Pete Beach, the conference next year,
Okay.
and
We'll be there. I plan on being there. And Cindy's my Georgia peach, and ask her if she got my. I sent her a real referral last week on a Great Dane. I just didn't know if the fella ever called her.
okay, she's listening now, so she's
okay.
here. Yeah, I love Cindy.
So spoke highly of you. So
Bob Locals, Don McCaig, and so many. And I want Cindy. I want you to come on here. Oh, Cindy or Nelson's here too. Nelson Hodges. Have you been through? Have you met Nelson? And
yeah, I knew Nelson.
What do you think of Nelson Hodges?
I have the highest respect for Nelson Hodges. I think he's the bee's knees. Him and all those hairy dogs of his.
All those huskies down in Texas.
Yeah, I can't handle all that hair, but bless him for doing it.
He's
my buddy in wolfdom.
Yeah, the Terburn that you were talking about, that reminded me of Nelson.
Yeah.
Oh, you were like, I'm not even talking to the dog. I'm not asking with this dog.
Right.
Cindy says we got the call. Thank you. So she got that referral.
All right, great.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've had Nelson at my property here a couple times. He's always welcome.
Uh-huh.
And I've learned a lot from him as well. And I think that the thing is too is that veterans that go to these seminars too, especially when you kind of take a minimalist approach like Nelson does, but speaking the dog, then I think a lot of pros need to listen to that too, and not just know that they've heard it all or they've moved past that. Mm-hmm. That he does have some true value. And the exercises are worth doing, in my opinion.
Yeah. Look, you talk to anybody longer in time in service or less in time service, and you don't pull away something, you're not listening. I've had some real gems come out of some very new trainers when they ask just the greatest question in the world that you haven't heard before.
Yeah,
and
I love that.
Say, hey, we have a trainer working for us now who is green as can be, but she shows up to work every day. She's off this week in England, but she shows up for work. She asks me some questions, and sometimes I walk away shaking my head, because she reads a lot, all these dogs. And but she's trying to learn and she's improving. And I got another young fella that I've been trying to get out into the street, if you will. That's Milton's working for us. He's got a lot of talent. He likes to learn, and he asks some really good questions. And that's how he's going to be better. I like to think my rookies are better than anybody else around town, so.
If there's any rookies that are watching this right now or people that are interested in learning from you, what's the best way to get a hold of you and to make that happen?
Listen, we are begging for trainers, real trainers, not somebody that's going to come visit me for a month and learn a little bit and go on and think they know something. We'll give you a job if you got some reasonable qualifications. And like I said, you want experience. What builds experience is dogs under belts. Okay? I already mentioned earlier today, we're running about 350 dogs through our training program every week between group classes, private lessons, evaluations, all of it, board and trains, you got a lot of dogs you can work. And that's what really teaches you.
Absolutely.
I guide them around. I let the dogs teach it. When the dog's frustrated enough, I send a little bomb in there to get them right. So.
And that's it. I mean,
work for Doggy Zone. It's going to grow, man. We're going to have multiple locations. We're going to rule the world.
There you go. One location at a time. But no knowledge through experience. There's no replacing that. I mean, there's nothing more valuable, in my opinion, And then borrowing scars too, like borrowing scars, where you take the veterans in the industry and they have taught you something that has prevented a bite that to happen to you that happened to them, right?
I do that all day long, every day. So, I got the scars. You can't see them, but there's plenty.
Well, that's it. Excuse me. Nelson says you need to get out here. Wait, then you need to get out more, George. What the heck? George, tell about the pro trainers list when Cap would say the lady doth protest too much, methinks. Bah ha ha! Riot that list was.
Let me tell you something. I can't give any of you young trainers. I cannot give it to you, and I would. Is back before the IACP. There was the pro trainers list. This was back when everything was done by emails. If you could imagine sitting in front of a computer writing email after email after reply after email to the likes of Captain Haggerty, Dick Russell, Margot Woods. It's just Vicky Hearn, Jesus.
It's in there. It's bubbling up.
Yeah, and have major arguments. Have you heard the term like around the ICP conference about the Neanderthal dog trainers?
It's ringing a bell, man, but right. I don't know.
A very proud old bunch of us call ourselves the Neanderthals, and it all came from that. I had a woman so mad at me one night on the internet. She screamed out in capital letters via email that I was nothing but a Neanderthal. And so the next day, the Neanderthal Dog Trainers of America was built. Pam Green had T-shirts made.
I think I remember seeing them.
When Margot's health started to go, she was in one of these little carts like you see in a Walmart, little things you sit in.
Little cars.
We bought it, a little cart thing, with the motor.
Mm-hmm.
And we put a 9-foot tall fluorescent orange flag, the NDTOA, the Neanderthal Dog Trainers of America, and rolled that thing through the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. That happened back in, 96, 97 maybe. Anyway, Cap Haggerty was there. Oh my God.
Linda says she remembers that.
Yeah. It was crazy. So those are times we cannot give you. And you know what? I'm sad for you that you missed it, because
I am too, man, but I want to hear more about it. We need to capture it, because this is like
gone. Unless somebody somehow archived that thing. It was amazing. That's where the ICP was born, of that list. It was born because of even back then, the conflict between the posse trainers.
I had one of those shirts, Nick says.
Yeah. The posse trainers, even then, it got so bad that the APDT was starting up, and they were very vocal, and all these huge arguments would be on there, and then it caused a split. And that's when Martin left the APDT, and him and Cindy, my Georgia Peach, and several others got the thing working, got the ICP working. I joined very early on. I think my membership number is like 60.
Wow.
I got a real low number. And so it's all organically grown up to what it is today, and I suppose it'll keep growing.
Yeah, it will. And I really like, and I'm proud of what it's become today, and the people that I meet, and the conversations that I have. She says Dick Russell proposed to Margot more than once. That does not surprise me. He was
proposed to a horse, if that's what was close by.
I think he proposed to you too, Cindy, didn't he?
He did. I think I proposed to Cindy once when I had a little too much liquor.
I think I have too, or I'm going to.
Nothing but respect for her hubby, man. He's a good dude. I have nothing but respect.
Yes.
I do love Cindy.
Yeah, she's
So
awesome. Cindy, Georgia Dog Gym, shout out, and I would love for Cindy to join me. I'm sure you'll see it. And the what are her not Technicolor, the Kodachrome,
yeah,
Kodachrome.
her and those collies, ain't they something?
Oh man, and her dancing. Have you seen her dancing with her?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
cool.
I watch stuff all the time, and I'm so proud of her. You know, she's just amazing. She's done so well down there. And
George
it's
was
not
very sweet on me, she
Marty. She's been
says.
at it a long, long time too. Who
Yeah.
was that?
Well,
Words very sweet on me. Who said that?
Cindy.
Oh yeah.
Cindy said very sweet on me. She says thank you as well. Well,
Uh,
and George, so monochromes, that's it.
yeah.
Monochromes. Thank you so much for your time today, man. I want to start wrapping it up because it's already been over an hour, and I know we could go for another couple hours. But so, what Dog Zone? What's the best way for people to get a hold of the Dog Zone, or
Well, it's
dogzone, or
DOGIZONE at .com. I'm on Facebook. I'm all over the place, and I'm not too. If anybody friend requests me, if you got some friends of mine too, I usually okay it. I don't know how many friends I got on Facebook. That's the easiest place to get me. If you want to talk business, George at doggyzone.com. And that's really meant that. That was, if nothing else, that was semi of a recruiting pitch. We're looking for trainers, but I'm looking for people that want to do it. And let me tell you, I promise you the best education money can buy, and you don't even have to pay for it. We'll pay you.
Yeah.
But you got to come in and work. There you go.
doggyzone.com. George at doggyzone.com.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, this is a great opportunity, but it's not going to be, I mean, a walk in the park. I mean, this is something that you got to work, you got to learn, and you got to get your hands on all these dogs. And this is actually, that's the first thing I tell anybody that wants to be an apprentice with me is how many, I want you to touch 1,000 dogs, get to the shelters, go walk some dogs, get out there. I just want, and then I can call the shelters. I call people and know, hey,
in a year with Doggy Zone, you could touch 1,000 dogs easy in a year. Really. So
I mean, that's accelerated learning right there, man. I mean, through experience, through working dogs.
I pride myself on making my apprentices cry.
Dang it, I need to lift my bar up a little bit.
Yeah, if they don't leave, that's including the guys too, man. If they don't leave sniffling and crying and run to their car at least once, I consider my day undone.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you've been warned. Earned work is the most rewarding kind of work. Excellent. Well, George, hold on here real quick, and then I'll say goodbye to you on the flip side. But right now, I'll say goodbye to everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for having me. I don't even know how I ended up here, but I'm here. So thank you.
And I so appreciate our conversation, man. This has been great.
Do it anytime. I love talking, as you can tell.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. And I like to hear about like just old time. That's what we need to learn and keep hold of.
I call my fireside chats for, man. Like we do these every once in a while. Someone will be nice enough to hire me for a seminar, and most of the fun stuff happens after I crack that beer at night in front of a fire. And everybody, we all stay up all night and really have the fun stuff.
Same with the conferences, man. That's what the people are like. What whose seminar are you going to be going to at 8 a.m. in the morning? I'm like, nobody's.
Everybody comes into mind like the next day, quiet. It's like church. But,
old time religion.
No, I missed that. I haven't been able to attend the IACP conference in a few years now due to various things. And next year, we've already scheduled off, and they just might have to fire me from Doggy Zone because Jess and I are coming. You can bet on it. If I ain't
I can't wait.
So, because that's my peeps, the IAC, my peeps, people like Cindy and everybody, and Linda's not IACP anymore, I don't think, but you know what I mean? Like people I care about. I'm brokenhearted about Martin, I cried.
God bless him. God bless him.
That's something I readily admit, but I cried my eyes out when I heard about Martin, and that really made me sad. But all these people were all getting up there, so if these young trainers want these graybeards to talk to them, they need to speak up now.
or forever hold your peace.
Yep, exactly right. I don't want to be just a memory. I want to be memorized with, hey, remember what George taught us. So,
I agree wholeheartedly, dude. And I want to come visit your spot someday. So we'll
doors
make that
open.
happen.
Doors open.
Cool, man.
Yep. Now you got to show up. All right.
Showing up's 80% of it.
Uh-huh. All right, brother.
All right. So hold on one second. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.